thy foot when thou goest into the house of the I am, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools. For they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash in thy mouth, and let not thy heart be hasty to utter anything before God. For the I am is in heaven, and thou upon the earth. Therefore let thy words be few. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business, and a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. When thou vowest a vow unto the I am, defer not to pay it. For he hath no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. Better is that thou shouldest not vow than thou shouldest vow and not pay it. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin. Neither say thou before the angel, it was an error. Therefore should the I am be angry at thy voice and destroy the works of thy hands. For in the multitude of dreams and many words there are also divers vanity. But fear thou the I am. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and the violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. Moreover, the profit of the earth is for all. The king himself is served by the field. He that loveth silver shall not be satisfied with silver, nor he that loveth abundance with increased. This is also vanity. When goods increase, they are increased that eat them. And what good is there to the owners thereof, saving the beholding of them with their eyes? The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. There is a sore evil which I have seen under the sun, namely, riches kept for the owners thereof to their hurt. But those riches perish by evil travail, and he that begetteth a son, and there is nothing in his hand. And he that cometh forth of his mother's womb naked shall he return to go as he came. And shall nothing of his labor which he may carry away in his hand. And this also is a sore evil, that in all points as he came, so shall he go. And what profit hath he that hath labored for the wind? All his days also he eateth in darkness, and hath much sorrow and wrath with his sickness. Behold, that which I have seen is good and comely, for no one to eat and to drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labors that he taketh under the sun all the days of his life, which the I am giveth him, for it is his portion. Every man also to whom the I am have given riches and wealth, and have given him power to eat thereof, and to take his portion, and to rejoice in his labor. This is a gift from the I am. For he shall not much remember the days of his life, because God answereth him in the joy of his heart. Ecclesiastes chapter 5. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. All praises to the Most High. All praises to He that exists. Not just He to exist, the one that exists. For this one is neither male nor female. This one is the Spirit that moved upon the waters. The I am, the eternal. Yes, there are other names in other languages that the one that exists is called by. But to call the one that exists male or female is foolish and idolatry. Yes, we're in the book of Job. Back in the book of Job. One thing about Job, he was careful. He was careful about bringing things, uttering what he uttered before the Most High. Many of us don't get it. Job was one that did not charge God foolishly as many do today because of their atrocities suffered and calamities they have experienced. They charge God foolishly. Why did God take my mother? Why did God take my son or my daughter? Why? The reason you don't know why, because you have not studied the law. You have not gone into the law. As plain as it is before you, as plain as it is in the books of what? Exodus and Leviticus. Those two books, if you study just those two books, you will understand the law very good. Yes, you will. And you would stop coming quoting. Your Isus did not, in the New Testament, or whatever you call him, Yahweh, Yahushua, whatever, did not even teach the law. Tidbits and little small crumbs of law. But the law is right there before you in the books of Exodus and Leviticus. If you would study, if you would sit down and understand it and know it, then you will make your way prosperous and you would have good success according to Joshua 1 and 8. We're in the book of Job, chapter 8, the Edomite. He had just answered in verse 7, he had said in answering to Eliphaz. Now here's another one of his constituents that began to say something. Let us read. And then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, How long wilt thou speak these things? How long shall the words of thy mouth be like a strong wind? Doth God pervert judgment? Or doth the Almighty pervert justice? God is not like man. God is not a man. The I am, the eternal, the one that exists, is not like men. Men do pervert justice. God's way is not favorable in today's mindset, whereas God calls for death upon certain actions taken, not upon the thought, but the action of rape, bestiality, adultery, murder. And the due process of God is that a witness, more than one witness, shall testify and put their hands on the person, actually put their hands on the person. This is the woman, this is the man that done such and such a thing. And then God has a fail-safe for that. And if those witnesses be found liars, they shall suffer the same execution as the person that they have falsely accused. Plain and simple. But it's hideous. The simple things are hideous. You see in the military and different corporations where people say this makes too much sense, but if it makes sense, they're not going to do it because it's not for their profit. These roundabout laws are for loopholes, for those who have money, for those who look like the one who's judging and the one who's persecuting. Yes, that's what it's for, period. Does God pervert judgment? Not like men do. Not as we understand it, no. God's way is absolute and God's way is straightforward. God doesn't beat around the bush with you because he knows his creation. Well, the Most High knows those whom the Most High have created. It is so hard to get out of that gender thing. If thy children have sinned against him, and he hath cast them away for their transgressions. If thou wouldest seek unto God betimes and make supplication to the Almighty. He's telling Job, you do this. All this time, Job just listening. That's one thing about being an Israelite. We don't include or butt into conversation. We let the person speak their piece. If you understand throughout the whole history of the Israelite, right? I'm not talking about the New Testament. That's something different. That book should be a different religion. I'm talking about the law. We don't do that. We let the person speak their piece. If they speak too long, we know how to cut them off. Yes. Now may I speak? You spoke long enough. This is wisdom before those you have controversy with, and it's wisdom to those who are listening, and it's wisdom before the Most High. Yes, it is. Now, Bildad said, if thou wouldst seek unto God betimes and make thy supplications to the Almighty. In other words, request, complain, ask, beg the Almighty. If you would do this, if thou wert pure and upright, oh, now he's questioning him. See, he does not know what is happening in the realm of the Most High. He does not know. Heaven is anything above ground that's not touching the ground. It's like the wind. It's the only way they can explain it. Spirit is like the wind. It's the only way they can explain it. You cannot explain spirit. It's hard. So you call it spirit. You call it ruach or whatever you want to call it. It's trying to sound so spectacular. Ruach, ruach. We are ruachs. So what? But the fact is that when you say ruach, you're saying the same thing as spirit. What does it matter? You speak a different language. Until you learn another one, then you speak in that language. It says, though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end should greatly increase. If you were upright, he says in verse 6, surely now he would awake for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. Was not Job prosperous? Was not Job prosperous? But Bildad did not see these things. He did not say anything. This is the argument he's having. Now, Job, if you was an upright man, you would not. Who is speaking here? Is it really Bildad who knew the life of Job? Or is it the Satan? Not a Satan. One of the Satans. See, this is where we falter and fail, because we begin to blaspheme unwittingly and unknowingly, in that we attribute one entity as powerful as the I Am. There is none. Nothing happens in the realm of the I Am or on earth unless the I Am allows it, period. This is what makes the I Am almighty and holy. Yes, even so that Balaam had to listen to the Most High. He had to obey him regardless, because he knew this was the power of all powers, period. Hallelujah, glory to the Most High. But either way, he says, now, if you were so right and pure, this is the devil. This is the devil, what you would call the devil talking through Bildad. Bildad, yeah. Through thy beginning was small, yet thy end should be greatly increased. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. This is the one having swelled the mind of Bildad. This is the Satan, one of the Satans. For we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because of our days upon the earth are a shadow. Which is true. A shadow is here and it's gone. As the sun rises and hits a certain time, you see your shadow no more. So is our life. Yes, just a little while. But yet God is looking for that special people, that remnant, that one, those ones that will say, all I have is for you. All I can live and breathe is for you. Yes, that's what the Most High is looking for. He says, but we are but yesterday and know nothing, in verse 9. He says, now, because our days upon the earth are a shadow, shall not they teach thee and tell thee and utter words out of their hearts? Can thou rush and grow up without mire, mud, dirt? Can a flag grow without water? No. While it is yet in his gentle greenness, and not cut down, it withers before any herb. Wow. Isn't that something? So are the paths of all that forget God. You will wither. You're no good. When you have known the Most High and you forget Him, look at Israel. This is what He's coming at. This is before Israel was even made a nation. Before Jacob even received the promise. This Edomite knew God because his father, Shem, taught him. His father, Esau. Esau taught his children also because it was commanded of him from his father. Yes, and Shem's father taught all three of his sons. Yes, this is so true. So there is no reason you have to go and evangelize God. Even God preserves His word. God preserves the word that is spoken through books. He has taken the heathen by the nose and made them preserve His word, the words of the I Am. Yes, the I Am did this. So what say you? He says now, he's trying to call, he says, so are the paths of all that forget God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. Is he trying to call Job a hypocrite? Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web. Confusing. This is why some of you are confused about the Most High. Because your trust is like a spider's web. You trust here, you trust there, but certain things you don't trust the Most High about. That's what he's saying. He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. In other words, this is something you have that you say is sound. You don't even own your house completely, even in the U.S., because you pay taxes on it. Although you already paid the money and paid for it maybe 3 or 4 times over through amortization. But the fact is, you don't own it. And then just for a few hundred or maybe a few $1,000s, what you paid $400,000 and $500,000, somebody else get it for nothing. What good is that? Because you lost everything you had. He says now again, in verse 16, he is green before the sun, his branch shooteth forth in his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the place of stones. If he destroy him from this place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee. This is you trusting in riches. You trusting in things that are temporal. If you make your home out of a cave, it's temporal, because either way you're going to die and leave it, is what he's saying. Behold, this is the joy of his way, and out of the earth shall others grow. Behold, God will not cast away a perfect man. Is it really God? Or is it the accuser that's accusing Job before the Most High, who sees the hearts of men and weighs the intentions of the heart? He says, neither will he help the evildoers in verse 20, till he fill thy mouth with laughing and thy lips with rejoicing. And they that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to nothing. Now Bildad confronted Job about what he thought Job was wicked. He come up with all types of things and examples and metaphors, as we see here in the 8th chapter of Job. But yet he does not know what's happening in the realm of the Most High. Just as many of us, we can judge a person by their circumstances. Was not this person rich? Was not this person well-to-do? Did not this person have a job? But now look at them. They're nothing. They lost everything they had. We judge them by, but yet they still keep their integrity and will not charge God foolishly. This is a man that's being accused of the Satans, but yet God is showing this man will keep his integrity. And if we do that which is right before the Most High, even keep that which we know is right, the laws are already in your heart, whether you read it or not. You just fight within yourself. Keep his laws, statutes, commandments, because the breath of the Most High is his law, or the law of the Most High. It's in you. You know you don't want nobody stealing from you. You know you don't want nobody taking someone that you love away and laying with them. You know that you don't want nobody desiring your things and your daughters and sons without your consent. You know these things. What trick is there? It's in you. The only thing the I Am puts forth is the law to show you what's in you, and that what is in you, you will be judged by. You're not ignorant. And for this reason, if we keep those things that are right according to the statutes, ordinances, laws, and commandments of the Most High, we will have peace.